April 28th in history. In 224 AD, the Parthian Empire had ruled Persia for nearly 5 centuries, but an ambitious local king named Ardashir was marching to challenge that power. At the Battle of Hormozdgan, Ardashir's forces clashed with King Artabanus V. The Parthian king fell in combat, and his empire fell with him. Ardashir founded the Sasanian Empire, which rivaled Rome for 400 years and shaped Persian culture, religion, and art for generations. In 1192, the Third Crusade raged across the Holy Land. Conrad of Montferrat had just been crowned King of Jerusalem, ruling from the fortified coastal city of Tyre. Walking through Tyre's narrow streets, Conrad was ambushed by 2 members of the Hashshashin order disguised as monks. They stabbed the newly crowned king, killing him instantly. Conrad's assassination threw the Crusader states into chaos. It reshaped the power struggle in the Holy Land and cemented the Hashshashin's fearsome reputation across medieval history. In 1789, the HMS Bounty sailed the South Pacific after months in Tahiti. Tensions between Captain Bligh and his crew had reached a breaking point. At dawn on April 28, Fletcher Christian seized the ship. Captain Bligh and 18 loyal men were forced into a tiny open boat and cast adrift. Bligh survived an incredible 3,600-mile voyage to safety. The mutineers vanished to remote Pitcairn Island, where their descendants still live today. In 1923, London unveiled its grand new Wembley Stadium. Over 200,000 eager football fans descended upon the venue, far exceeding its capacity. The crowd spilled onto the pitch, threatening to cancel the FA Cup final. A lone police officer on a white horse slowly pushed the masses back behind the touchlines. Bolton won 2-0 in what became known as the White Horse Final. The chaos prompted modern crowd safety regulations that transformed stadium design forever. In 1945, as World War II neared its end, Benito Mussolini fled north through Italy, desperately trying to escape to Switzerland ahead of advancing Allied forces. On April 28th, Italian partisans captured and executed Mussolini near Lake Como, ending 20 years of fascist rule in a single decisive moment. Mussolini's violent end became a stark symbol of fascism's collapse, a warning echoing through history about the fate of authoritarian power. In 1947, Norwegian explorer Thor Heyerdahl built a primitive balsa wood raft in Peru, determined to prove ancient South Americans could have crossed the Pacific. Heyerdahl and 5 crewmates set sail on the Kon-Tiki, drifting 4,000 miles across open ocean for 101 harrowing days. They crashed ashore in the Tuamotu Islands, proving the voyage possible and forever changing our understanding of ancient oceanic migration. In 1952, Japan stood at the threshold of a new era. After 7 years under Allied occupation following World War II, the nation awaited the moment its sovereignty would be restored. On April 28, the Treaty of San Francisco took effect, formally ending the state of war between Japan and the Allied powers, and officially restoring Japanese independence. The treaty launched Japan's remarkable transformation into an economic powerhouse. Though the U.S. retained Okinawa until 1972, Japan rapidly rebuilt, becoming one of the world's leading democracies. In 1967, Muhammad Ali stood as heavyweight champion of the world, yet faced a defining choice between his crown and his conscience. At the Houston Induction Center, Ali stood firm and refused to step forward when his name was called, declaring he had no quarrel with the Viet Cong. Stripped of his title and banned from boxing for 3 years, Ali's conviction was overturned by the Supreme Court, cementing him as a symbol of principled resistance. In 1986, deep inside Soviet Ukraine, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant stood as a symbol of atomic progress, its 4 massive reactors powering millions of homes. Swedish scientists detected mysterious radiation spikes and traced them to the Soviet Union, forcing Moscow to finally admit Reactor 4 had exploded 2 days earlier. Chernobyl transformed global nuclear policy forever, created a permanent exclusion zone, and its fallout contributed to the unraveling of the Soviet Union itself. In 2001, American businessman Dennis Tito prepared for an unprecedented journey, training at Russia's Star City to become the first paying space tourist. On April 28, Tito launched aboard a Soyuz rocket from Kazakhstan's Baikonur Cosmodrome, paying $20 million for an 8-day trip to the International Space Station. Tito's historic flight proved space was no longer reserved for governments alone, igniting a commercial space tourism industry now worth billions of dollars. In 2004, the United States military occupied Iraq. Among its facilities was Abu Ghraib, a sprawling prison complex west of Baghdad holding thousands of detainees. On April 28, CBS aired photographs showing American soldiers humiliating and torturing Iraqi prisoners. The disturbing images shocked the world overnight. The scandal ignited global outrage, eroded American moral authority, and transformed the debate over prisoner treatment and military accountability for generations.